Hi, welcome back to Nails and Yap. So today I'm joined by Izzy, aka Orphic Nails Education. I have said that right, haven't I?
Yes.
Orphic?
Yeah.
Yep. Beautiful. And I'm dead excited for this one because we're going to be talking all about nail art. So Izzy is amazing at nail art, and as soon as I saw her page, I was like, I need her in. We need tips, we need tricks, we need all the secrets. So that's what we're going to chat about today. So I'm going to be doing Izzy's nails while we chat. We're going to be doing extensions, aren't we?
Yes.
What shape are we wanting? I haven't even asked you what length, what shape.
I'm like an almond girly.
Yeah?
And I'm fully aware that you can't do a short almond, but just a short almond.
I have got, there are some tips that are, so I use the nail order ones, and there are short almond and medium.
Fab, yeah, we'll go for the
So
short
I'll show you the short ones, because I think they are still kind of long. What are we actually doing on the extensions?
So I wasn't sure what I could have.
You can have whatever you want, but I'm not as good as you at
No,
that. So
don't even.
within reason.
So
If I can do it, you can have it.
Fab, okay. So I saw some inspo. I was like, I'll be kind. I won't be like, so I want this on this finger and this on this
Powerpuff
finger.
Girl.
Literally. I'd like Scooby-Doo and the whole gang, please. So I saw, again, I'm like, I don't want to be too cheeky and have too much.
I feel like when my guests come on the podcast, you're giving up your time, you're giving up your Sunday. Sundays are precious as a nail tech, so have the nail art one. Fab. So let's chat about nail art and you, like, where did you start? How did you get into it?
So I originally, I won't go too much into it, but
Yeah.
when I say I grew up in Congleton, like we're not starting way back when. But I grew up in a small town called Congleton, and there's not really much there in terms of, especially 3 years ago, now there is, in terms of nail technicians, let alone nail technicians that did really artsy sets. And way back then, I was this little emo girl that always wanted like lightning bolts, checkerboards, flames, but nowhere would do it. So after lockdown, I decided to just go into nails for myself. I've always kind of had like a bit of an artsy flair. I wanted to be a tattoo artist originally, but couldn't get an apprenticeship anywhere. I've always liked drawing. Like when I was younger, I'd just sit upstairs and draw for hours. So I thought, yeah, let's give it a go. If I'm doing my own nails, they don't need to be perfect. So I went into college, started doing it, fell in love with it, and here we are.
So did you do art at school and stuff? How did the nail art evolve?
I just really enjoyed drawing in my free time, and I guess I kept seeing things online, like ideas and stuff, and I was like, well, there's nowhere around here that'll do that. Let's give it a whirl. I mean, granted, in the last like 2-3 years, I don't know if you feel this way, it feels like nail art has completely just exploded, and it's really nice to see that everybody is doing it.
Yeah, I think it's exploded just because of client demand.
Yeah.
A few years ago, clients wouldn't have wanted it, and don't get me wrong, I still have some clients who come in and they say, oh, I'd love to try nail art, but I'm not brave enough, or it won't match my outfit or whatever. But I do think it's become a lot more wanted by the general public, whereas even sort of 2021, 2022, it's definitely more like clean girl kind of.
Just a French with a bit of glitter or something.
Yeah, and I remember I used to get my nails done back then before I was a nail tech, and I'd go in and I'd want like a little starburst or like a sort of French that's off to the side and a bit wiggly and like that kind of thing. I was like, oh, lovely.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have gone in and been like, full mix and match, like give me ghosts for Halloween or anything.
Yeah.
Whereas now that seems more common, I guess.
Yeah, people really do want that. They don't mind that it's odd on each finger, like some people do. Or some people want 2 fingers with absolute craziness on, and then the rest of the fingers to just be a colour. Like, I'm so here for it. But I don't know, like I was doing a course, and in the course they teach you very, very basic things. So it was like ombre, encapsulating loose glitter, and that was it. They kind of just put a pot of brushes on the table and went, go nuts, have a play with things. And everyone kind of like jumped to the stickers, and I just jumped to trying to paint things on. And I didn't start off easy, like I was there literally, I love how you joked before saying like Powerpuff Girl, like that was like one of the first things I tried to paint was a Powerpuff Girl.
Baptism of fire.
Literally.
I'm here for it.
And it just went from there. It was like, oh my gosh, well if I can paint this, then I can paint this, and how hard can that be if I can do this? Let's just apply it this way, and that's kind of just where it went. Like,
Just evolved from that.
Yeah, there's no fancy story around it or anything. I just really enjoyed doing it.
Was there any early I don't want to say disasters, 'cause I'm sure they were great at the time, but there weren't anything that you did early on that now you're like, oh my god, that was...
Characters.
Yeah.
I look back at, again for me, I'll sound daft constantly repeating it, but like checkerboard, flame, stars and characters, I see such evolution in those designs.
Same with checkerboard.
Yeah, it's gone from like one square's this big, another one's this big, to
Yeah.
it's all now uniform,
Yeah.
crispy, clean, beautiful.
It took me so long to realise you have to do the thinnest line to make the checkerboard, or it ends up with being like a bit wonky.
And your corners have to be like just touching, they can't be overlapping, otherwise it just looks. And the same with stars, like it took ages to get to grips with that, with like brush pressure and things like that, and that you can just flick the brush, you don't need to press on and pull it down, like it took ages. But yeah, disaster wise, the only thing that sticks in my head is loose glitter, which is daft because that's not even nail art. I worked in this salon and she wasn't great, bless her. She sat one day and she let me use all her products, that's what I was paying for, that was the agreement. And one day I sat and she made me dead nervous using her stuff anyway. She was always like, put it back where you found it, which I do, I'm a very clean type person. Make sure you clean up after yourself, blah blah blah. And this one day in summer, I opened this pot of glitter and I had a fan right next to me, and as I opened it, this loose glitter just went everywhere. And she looked at me, literally,
across
and behind this curtain of glitter that was falling was a very angry lady, like, you owe me a new glitter. I was like, I'll buy you 4 pots of new glitter, I'm so sorry.
It's like £8, I think.
Yeah, I think this one was like £3 from Magpie, like it's really a tiny one.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was furious. And for about 2 years I refused to use loose glitter. People would come and go, I've seen this, can I have this? And I'm like, no, if it's not in a pot form, in a gel glitter form, you're not having it. I'm not doing loose glitter.
I found, I did do a masterclass when I first got into loose glitter. It was one of the Magpie educators. And it was like this online masterclass, showed you how to apply it, and I was like, great. And I feel like that first year I really smashed the loose glitter.
Yeah.
And every other Christmas since, like this year, I've been absolutely covered in glitter. I feel like my loose glitter skills gone backwards, so maybe I need to dig that masterclass out and try and refresh myself with it. But now I'm like, no, mix it in a clear or something, because you know, for me, it's when the loose glitter ends up all around the nails, and then I can't get clean pictures, especially if they're like slightly sweaty. Yeah. Which the salon's actually really warm, so people they get a bit sweaty hands sometimes. Yeah. So then they get glitter all around it. I'm like, I can't even get a good picture because it's stuck all around your fingers.
Yeah, it just
takes everything off, and then you start getting fluff added on it, and disaster.
No, I'm with you on the. I will always say to anyone, mix loose glitter in with a clear, whether it's a base or a top, mix it in. Gone are the days of applying a little wet layer and sprinkling it on. And
no. I had a little tray at one point where
was that when
you put the finger over the top and then you sprinkle the loose glitter on top. And I used that once and I was like, I've wasted so much glitter even when you're not supposed to, because now it's stuck to the plastics, it sticks to everything.
Yeah, and then you're trying to wipe it off and it just won't. Yeah, loose glitter.
Not worth the headache. Absolutely not.
It's not an art crisis. It's just a loose glitter. Don't like it.
What would you say was the hardest part of transitioning from like your initial sets? I was going to say basic sets, but it doesn't sound like you've actually done too many basic sets if you went straight to Powerpuff Girls. But what would you say was the hardest part of transitioning from that early phase to now your more detailed sets? Is there anything that stands out?
There's not really much that stands out. I'd probably say like client expectations. When I first started, it was really hard to sit with a client and go, by the way, we're going to be here for like 6 hours. This isn't a 2-hour jobby. Like, is that okay with you? And learning that you can move people is okay too. Like, you don't have to sit the whole time you're painting and be at this position. There are times where I'm basically throwing elbows. I'll have like an arm up here so I can get something, or my client's fingers twisted. And that was for me when I first started doing it on clients and not press-ons, because press-ons you can turn around and flip about. Yeah. When you're doing it on a client, you can't just throw them upside down.
Sadly, even though there's someone might want to.
Yeah, just but,
off you go.
that was hard to get used to, because you've got a whole person there, and sometimes as well, I don't know if you've seen the videos where like it's people are so engrossed in what they're doing, and then it's that video where it's like, hello, I'd like to check in please, and it's like, where did you come from? Yeah. It do be like that sometimes. You'd be so engrossed you forget there's a person attached to what you're doing. And I found that was the hardest bit, to go from being able to have a 45-minute gel polish where you're just yapping the whole time, and they leave and it's all fun, to we're going to be here for a good solid few hours. Are you okay with the fact that I'm going to go quiet and I might throw you around and we might be doing some finger yoga, like, is that okay? That was the hardest bit for me, was to accept that you can do that, you are allowed to do that.
Yeah, because I think as well, like, for a nail tech, that's your everyday, all day, every day. Whereas for a client, if they have to sit uncomfortably for a few minutes of that appointment, that's fine. Whereas if you do that all day, every day, you're not going to be able to do the job for very long.
Yeah. Like, I wish I could say something like, oh, it was hard to get used to having to sit and do X, Y, Z, but it really was having the braveness, let's say, to say to clients, like, I need you to do this for me. To do decent nail art, sometimes you have to be bossy and say, can you sit still?
That's a really good insight, because I genuinely thought you were going to come on and say, you know, the hardest part about transitioning from like basic sets to other sets is like
learning
the patience, or learning how to paint, or learning the structure of a face, or blah blah blah. Whereas actually, it wasn't necessarily the technical for you, it's more like the softer skills with clients.
The people skills.
Interesting. No, that's really interesting.
Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, it's hard to learn the structure of a face, and if you got it, you got it, and if you don't beat yourself up about it, you'll get it, you will, practice makes perfect. But yeah, no, the people-y side of it, being comfortable, especially if you're a people pleaser, being comfortable with saying to someone, like I say, like, can you stop doing that? Or I have like sign language with my clients now where, because I feel really bad being like, can you stop, can we just, to the point where now if someone's on their phone and they're moving or they're talking with their hand, I will just lean over and touch their hand twice, and then they'll kind of go, oh gosh, I'm sorry, and I'm like, it's okay, it's okay.
Developed your own language to be able to do decent nail art.
Or people know that if I sit and I'm holding my brush and I stare at the nail for a while and I do like a little slow blink, I think they've learned that that's me waiting for them to finish being so fidgety with their conversation, because I know that what they're saying is coming to an end, so instead of being like, can you just, I'll let them finish, and then I'll go, okay, for this bit I just need you to be as still as you can. So for me, that was the hardest bit.
It is hard, because as a client, if someone was like, sorry, can you just be quiet, I might be like, oh, feelings hurt.
So sorry.
But equally, I'm not bothered if the hairdresser says, well, just stay really still while I cut this back bit because I want it straight. And I think maybe that's part of it, when you say like, this is really detailed, so I just need you for this bit, and you kind of explain, and then they know you're not telling them off, you sort of just want the best for their nails.
Oh, there's times where we'll sit and I'll be painting and they'll hold their breath, and when I finish, me and them both go, oh. I've come from roles where it's all customer service, so it's always putting them first and what's right for them, and you kind of don't really matter. So you've got to be comfortable.
Yeah, you've got to get that balance right.
Still.
I love them TikToks where you see, you know, when the piece of paper's moving, and they say to a client, draw on this, and they move the pen.
And they're like wiggling it about.
And the client's like, that's what you're doing when you're on your phone, and I'm like trying to paint. And I think, but again, clients they're not moving around on the phone and moving the hand to be a dick. They just don't realise that it impacts us.
Even like now, like shaking my head or whatever, like it moves the whole body in little tiny micro movements. I had to tell my mum the other day, not my mum, one of the clients, I had the drill and I was using the flame bit, and obviously when you're using that, you're going in an up motion. Like I'll do it one way and then I'll go like in an up motion. And she was really, whatever she was talking about, she was really like this with her hand, like as she was talking, it was going forwards. And I just looked at her and goes, I'm going to stop you for a minute and I just need to tell you how this works. So I explained to her that basically if she carries on and slips too far, that is going in her finger, and that will not be my fault. And she was like, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realise. I was like, it's fine. I was like, I'm not shouting at you, we're just educating each other. Like, I'm just telling you what I see and so you understand. And I think that's why my clients are so perfect now, in the nicest possible way. Like, that sounds really big-headed, but because I've spent time telling them why I need them to be still, why this needs to happen. But it was a really hard thing to get comfortable doing.
And do you find, because obviously over time you build that relationship with your clients, and like you say, you can tap them or they understand the why, but do you find that it's sort of a re-education every time with a new client?
With a new client, yeah. Some of them, if they've had the nails done and they've come from having arty nails in the past, they get it, they know. Like I've got one lady that's recently started coming to me, and she only had one appointment, like we've only had one appointment together so far, and she sat like a dream, and she was like, I just get it, she's like, I just know, so don't worry. And I was like, oh my god, I love you.
I think sometimes as well, people's algorithms, if they love getting the nails done, their algorithm says nails, and sometimes they'll get fed content that's nail tech to nail tech.
Yeah.
So they'll see stuff about, like, jokey stuff about clients moving and clients wiggling, and I'll talk about that piece of lint if you keep touching your jumper. So I think that has educated people as well a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. I put it in my policies as well. I have actually, funny you mentioned the lint thing. I have got something in one of my policies somewhere that's like, you keep touching your jumper, it is going to have my cat's embedded in your nails, like if it's cat fur or whatever, like it's going in your nails. I'm not spending ages wiping and stuff because it affects everything.
It does, especially when you're doing such detailed sets that take so much time anyway. If you then add in like defluffing between every single sticky bit.
Yeah.
Absolute nightmare. And I know you said obviously you started off with doing Powerpuff Girls and things like that, and you just sort of dove straight into the fun nail art. It wasn't sort of as gradual for you, but how long would you say it took you to feel actually confident doing nail art?
So, I'm going to tell you a secret, I'm still not confident. 4 years in, I was on and off doing nails over the 4 years. Like I've had a good year gap where I went back into working in insurance. So I don't think that helped with the confidence because I had a break. And for example, the past few months I've not had as many artsy sets as I would like to have, so that has an impact because you'll get confident, and then if you're not doing it as frequent, you do lose it a bit.
Yeah, I completely get that, because I found even when I came back like after Christmas or when I've had an extended break, I will often be a lot slower, and I think, why am I running 5 minutes behind? Oh, it's because you've not done nails for a week. So imagine if you do really detailed sets and then none for 3 months.
It gets very like I did my first flame on Friday. That I haven't done a flame since maybe July last year. And I just looked at my client, and flames for me were a flame for me is easier than a French. And I did the first flame and I looked at her and I was like, oh my god, Tyra, I think it's gone. And she was like, what do you mean you think it's gone? I was like, I don't think I can do flames anymore. So I wiped it off, redid it. I had a word with myself, redid it, and it was fine, absolutely fine. Again, I could do it, but sometimes it does take that. You've not done it for a while. I'm gonna have to just have 5 minutes, reteach myself, and then we'll go again.
I find the more often that I do more detailed sets, the more efficient I become. Because I can be very inefficient, especially if my client doesn't know what they want. So if they're having a mix and match set and they're still, which I need to crack down on, when somebody is like, oh, I don't know what I want on that finger, but once the rest are done, I'll know. I need to crack down on that, because it just means that I can't just paint all the gel colours at once and then the next step and then all the black at once and then the next step. And the less I do detailed nail art, the more inefficient I become, and I forget to be efficient. And I'm like, it's fine, it won't impact my timing that much, I'll be fine. Oh, it's 10 p.m, I'm still in the salon.
Yeah, it's been an hour over and you're like, ooh. That's one thing I would say, like, definitely crack down on, like, getting a really good idea of what we want, because I can say to people, as long as I know what base colours we're having, I can get cracking on the nails that we do know what we're having, but then I'm not having to go back and essentially start from the beginning with a whole fresh nail. I'm still not confident in a lot of things. So for example, my K-pop Demon Hunter set, everyone was like, wow, that's amazing.
You're gonna have to send me pictures so I can overlay it on the video.
I will. Everyone's like, wow, that's amazing. Like, I think I'll end up referencing this set again at another question later down the line, because it's such a good set for examples of different things. Because I started to understand how art works more than just trying to get it on there and do a good job, i.e. layering. Layering is so important. That set, for all I hadn't practiced and I wasn't confident in doing it, it still turned out well because I just took my time. But I'm still not confident. It amazes me sometimes. I'll do a set, I sit back and go, wow, I did that.
I find looking back at sets I've done 2-3 years ago helps my confidence. The other week I was just clearing out my phone storage and I got to a set of stars that I'd done, and it was one of my first sets I'd ever done, like a 5-point star. And I was like, wow, I've done so many of these this Christmas that are well better than them. I really have grown. But if you'd have said to me before then, have you grown your skills in any Christmas nail art? I'd have been like, nah, not at all. But actually, they're well sharper, they're better formed,
Yeah.
they're just so much better than 2
More
years ago.
informed, yeah.
And I wouldn't say I do them very often, so that just, I don't even know how I've got better. It's not been through
Yeah.
practicing those specifically, but it must just
It's
be getting
the
better
stuff
at
that
like,
you've done,
yeah.
My go-to for teaching anyone, like when I've done any little nail art courses, the first thing we learn is stars, because it's such a good one to teach you about like brush pressure, brush saturation and things like that.
As in a 5-point star.
Yeah. It just teaches people that you can be gentle with your brush. And I think once you apply that skill to other things, so like your swirls, if you're doing smiley faces and stuff, when it comes to revisiting a star, you'll soon go, oh, well, this is like riding a bike, and actually, even though I've not revisited this in a while, this has actually turned out really well, because I'm still using the skills that I need for this in more complicated stuff.
We love transferable skills.
Absolutely. That's the word I'm looking for. I was literally just going to say, if you want to add an image in of one of my first sets of checkerboard and flames to one of my most recent, and it's taken me 3 years to have got to that point, you are more than welcome to throw that in there.
Yeah,
to show
I
people
absolutely
that,
will, because I think a lot of people who are listening and watching will relate to that. Nail art is something clients are wanting more of, you want to get better at it, and it feels very daunting. So I think hearing someone, especially if it's got a timeline with it, it's like, here's where I started and here's where I'm up to now. It's sort of reassuring that you can actually do it, and it's not impossible to get good at nail art.
Because some people do just have it. There are girls, there's a girl local to me, Kate, shout out Kate, who, she's not been doing it for long, and she's going to go far. She's doing so well with what she's doing.
Yeah.
Some people naturally have it. You know, I came from a bit of an arty background, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be good at it. Like, I understand, you know, like your depth and stuff, but it doesn't mean I'm going to just be good at it. It's a totally different skill to drawing on paper or an iPad, or, you know, it's a different medium as a whole.
Yeah.
But if I can do it, and it's taken me a long time, but if I can do it, anyone can do it. You don't have to be artsy.
I love that. Yeah, because
Just have to
I
enjoy
often
it.
get asked by clients, oh, did you do art at school? No, I didn't.
No. A lot of people didn't do
And
it.
people are surprised by that.
Yeah. I think if it's something you truly enjoy though, and you really love, you will find that it just works.
And like you say, it's so different to drawing on paper and anything else. And also, you can just delete it.
No, you can't.
You can just wipe it off. We can just go, I hate that.
Yeah,
do you ever do that though, where you hate it, you wipe it off and they go, oh, I liked that.
And then you'll do it again, and then you'll go, no, I don't like that one. And they do the, what's wrong with it? And then it's like, everything.
You can't see it, but
Yeah.
I can.
They'll even sit and be like, no, I don't understand, but okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank you.
I think it's getting that balance as well of not sort of being too critical on yourself, because sometimes clients are happy with what you've done. It's tricky though, because you want to maintain standards and make sure clients are happy, but equally, no one's as picky as we are.
Yeah.
So sometimes let's not wipe it off 5 times if they're happy with the first one,
Yeah.
because we're just actually wasting time.
Yeah, it does not have to be, like, they're not presenting them to, I was going to say the Queen, but you know, we're not presenting them to someone that's really high up that's going to look at them and go, oh, they're terrible. Like, say, as long as the client's happy with them,
That's
they're
what
not,
matters.
they're not terrible.
Are there any nail art styles that you would say are kind of easy to do and time efficient, but that look really good and have that the high impact?
Yeah. One of my favourite go-tos is whack an aura background and a pearl over like the base. So
Pearl is in like a chrome.
yeah, like a pearl chrome.
Beautiful.
So like, say someone says, I don't know, they want a star, just a singular star in the middle of a finger, and you're thinking, I mean, that's cute, but let's make it look really high impact, but it's actually still quite time efficient. I will throw in like an aura, like with a matte top coat, pigment aura, throw that in there, whack my star on, whack a little bit of glitter in the middle of the star, boom, you've gone from just a simple little star to it looks really, really complicated, when actually you've just added some depth.
Yeah.
And now you've got a really nice
I love
design.
an aura. As in, like, clients reacting to auras, they're like, whoa.
And you're like,
They
I
love
know.
it, don't they?
Yeah, it's so easy, but I know.
I don't know. And
Yeah.
also, like you say, adding a glitter to the middle of a star. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Like a little starburst,
Yeah,
you put a glitter dot in it,
yeah. They
elevates.
lose their mind.
Yeah.
Like, they'll look at the star and go, wow, and then you like give it back, put the dot in,
Yeah.
and they're like, wow, and you're like, I know.
I'll always say to people, I'm going to just show you what this looks like, because I know you haven't asked for it, but I prefer it with this. Feel free to tell me if you don't
Yeah.
like it, but let's see. And no one has ever, oh no, actually one person over Christmas said, do you know what, I don't think it needs it, but she had glitter in other places on the nails, so she was like, oh, I think it detracts.
It can make
Everybody
sense,
else goes, yeah, you were right, it needed it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, a star's not finished till it's got a glittery dot for
really
me.
Needs that.
Absolutely not.
So 100% auras in the middle of little bits of designs, or if someone's just having like a nude, you know, well, I don't do these because people, I will point blank just say no, just because I don't like doing Frenches. Like, you know, like the glazed donut French or whatever it was, where it was like a French with a pearl over the top.
Yeah.
Just in one fine swoop of just a little, add a little something dead quick, and it's just elevated it massively.
That's really good for bridal nails as well, where they're like, French feels basic, but I want something.
But I don't want to go too OTT.
I don't want to go wild, and I want it timeless, and I'm like, stick a chrome on.
Say no more, I got you, boo.
And will you often suggest to clients, oh, we could upgrade it with this, we could upgrade it with that? Yeah.
Because to me, this is why people might disagree with me now, and I'll go into it more when we talk about pricing, but if that's still within your time limit and we can add more, I'm adding more. I absolutely am. If you want more, especially people who are paying for the higher sets, what is a couple of seconds of me rubbing a pearl over it? What, that, it's nothing. Like, I get them, the ones I use, I get from Amazon, they're like £5 and I've had them for like 2 years. Like, you know, they're not extortionate, they're not breaking the bank. So let's make this person feel special, who maybe this isn't normally within their budget, but let's add a bit of pearl into the background, let's add a little aura pigment. It doesn't cost that much to do that.
So are there any products that you swear by for nail art? What we give the people what they want. What are your go-tos? What are your favourite products, tools, etc.?
So I feel like when people see my page, they think I've just got this like massive cupboard filled with everything that I could ever need for nail art, and it's far from the truth. I really don't have a lot at all. I just make it work. I swear by Hona's detail paints.
Yeah.
I'm like, this isn't sponsored. This is honest opinions.
Yeah, we love a Hona detail pen.
They're just so good. They are so versatile, and me personally, I do use them as full colour sometimes, because sometimes the gel polish just isn't the right colour for my client, or there's one detail paint in particular, I think it's Night Sky, it's like a glittery blue, and it's just phenomenal for an all over glitter. I just love it. So I swear by Hona's detail paints for everything.
I struggle with the packaging, that's the only thing.
Do you? Yeah.
They're always leaking.
So,
I swear they leak more in my drawer now than they did when I was mobile.
Do you peel the whole top off?
Used to, and now I cut a hole in it.
Cut a hole in it, yeah, and that's what I've done, and they've stopped leaking. I find that the chromy ones explode. Yeah. Don't know what's going on there, guys. Like,
I think part of it as well is like once it's in the thread of the lid, you can never get it fully out, and then it's just forever a mess.
Yeah. So my chromes are diabolical.
I think that's interesting though, that you kind of don't have loads of different colours and what have you. How did you know which ones to get at first?
So when I first started, I'm not shy to say that I literally, I'm not being that person that's like, I came from nothing. Like I came from nothing. Yeah. I had £20 in my account the day I decided to become a nail technician. And I just had to spend it wisely, and I still have to this day. Like, I'm not making loads of money. Yeah. So it was going back to things that we all learn in primary school, is the colour wheel, colour theory, primary colours, secondary colours, mixing them. I will not sit here and say I don't mix colours.
I love to mix colours.
Yeah, because there's quite a taboo of, and it kind of, I don't know if annoy is the right word, but it does annoy me. People will say you shouldn't be mixing colours to get colours, but to me, if it's the same brand and the same product in the brand, so I will only mix Hona's detail paint with another Hona detail paint to get a colour. I won't go mixing Magpie gel polish with Hona detail paint. I won't do that. But for me, get your primary colours, get a black and white, primary colours, secondary colours. You can make any colour then. Like, if money is an issue, that's how I started, because for me money was an issue. I could make any colour, and then I just invested in a couple of glitters, because we all like a glitter.
We all love a glitter.
We love a glitter, and as we established earlier, you can just mix it in a top coat, so you're not getting glitter everywhere. But yeah, that's where I started. And again, people are amazed that my collection's growing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, it is growing, but it's nowhere near where people probably think it should be. But I absolutely swear by their detail paints. I love them. I think they're super pigmented. They blend really well. The viscosity is perfect. It doesn't ooze everywhere.
Yeah.
Because I would highly recommend detail paints over gel polish. There are people who come into nails and they'll try to do a French with a white gel polish and they're like, guys, what's going on? Why is it not staying where it should go?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's the viscosity, it's too thin, it's too runny.
Yeah.
You need a detail paint, whether it be from Honer, Nail Order, wherever. Detail paints for the win.
And also just for the colour payoff as well. I'm not doing nail art that I have to then either put on so bulky that it's literally bumpy, or that I have to paint several layers of. I need a one coat colour for nail art.
That's really pigmented that you can just do one line and go, oh, we're done. Life is good. Brushes, Nailed It by Chelsea.
Yes.
Now, I again, because I'm just that kind of person, I don't have everything. I don't have an abundance of brushes. I've got her, It's Hard brush, which is like a detail one. I use that for basically everything. And then I got a pack of brushes from Amazon that were a £5 purely because I've never used a long liner as good as the one that's in that packet.
I love that. Drop the link.
Literally can do. It's literally a £5. You get like 4 brushes in it. The other brushes are alright. They're mid. They'll do the job if you're doing any colour blocking in nail art. That doesn't need to be perfect.
Yeah.
But this liner brush, it's like a 20mm liner brush, and yeah, it's brilliant. I use it for my Frenches, for my checkerboards, for any line work. It's stunning.
I love that because I think sometimes when you start, it's like, I've got to buy my lamp, I've got to buy my colours. There's a lot of investment, and actually I do have some brushes from the likes of Amazon.
Yeah.
And
I don't know
I
why
rate them.
it's a taboo. Sometimes they're so good.
So, well, when you start out, you can't always afford to drop £15-20 on a brush. Yeah, I think for
yeah.
I think for stuff like your detail, like your liner brushes, and I like to invest in like my gel brush, like my gel applique brushes.
Yeah.
But other than that, anything that I'm just chucking on a detail paint full colour with, or like doing even a French, I just use basic brushes for, and maybe I've not found the most amazing life-changing brush yet. Maybe if I did invest 20 quid in a brush, I'd change my mind. But I think one of the important things when starting out on nails is knowing what to invest in and what not to, and I think some certain brushes you don't need to.
You do not need, and I say this with passion from other people I've spoke to who have gone out and they've basically gone, oh, I'm skint because I've just dropped like £90 on this whole brush collection. And I sit and I feel awful being like, why? You're just starting out. You don't need to have a brush for dots, a brush for lines, a brush for swirls, a brush for full cover, a brush for this, a brush for that. You don't need 5 brushes to do a starry set, for example. Like, just invest in one really good detail brush, and then I'd say a good liner brush, a good long liner brush. If you're going to be doing like, not even just checkerboard, like, you know, the Christmas like wrapping paper trend, where it was just the stripes. A good liner brush and a good detail brush, and you're good to go. Everything in between seems to work pretty well.
Yeah, just
you don't need a load.
No, you really don't.
No, I've got in my drawer, I have got a load that I've just accumulated over time through trialing, and I will honestly admit, Nailed It by Chelsea's What Like It's Hard is my baby. I've got 2 of them because I'm so scared in case anything happens to it.
I really want to get her new ombre brush.
Oh yeah, I would like to try that.
She showed, I think I saw a video of it. Oh, and she showed, was it the ombre brush? Oh, it was a chrome one that you can reuse.
I've got that.
I really want that.
So good.
And I asked her if I met her at an event, and I asked her if she had that with her, and she hadn't brought it, but she did show us the buffer one for doing like aura nails, and then it comes with like a sponge that you clean it. And I was like, I need that. I didn't buy it on the night because I was trying to be on a spending ban, but
you wish you did.
I wish I did. Yeah, I'm gonna have to invest.
Yeah, that's one thing I want to invest in because that looks fabulous. That aura brush with the little.
I say invest, but they're really good value for money, aren't they?
Yeah.
I bought the your mum's chest hair brush at the event, and that was like, I swear it was like £8 to £10. I can't remember exactly, but I was surprised. I thought they were going to be like 30 quid.
Yeah, her Especially the singular ones, they're really good value for money.
Would you say, other than kind of being influenced to buy things that you really don't necessarily need when starting out, there's other mistakes people make when they do begin nail art?
One of the biggest ones, and I probably feel like I have no right in saying this, is learn to do the nails before the nail art, guys. And that sounds really rude, but you can be really good at doing nail art on press-ons as you're practicing. That's great to practice. But if you haven't nailed your application, no pun intended, you've gone from practicing on a lovely smooth base where everything works nicely for you to lumpy bumpy sets that maybe you've not refined very well, or you're not familiar with how to work with builder gel, hard gel extensions. Like, absolutely nail your base, like the core product you're putting on, because it will make such a dreamy buttery canvas for painting art on. You don't want to be halfway through a set painting something and be like, there's a lump in this nail and it's thrown everything off. My character's gone from having a nice princess nose to a big bulbous nose because my base isn't even.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds awful, like people get so swept in with nail art with the excitement of doing it, and I can do it, this is amazing, I'm so happy I can paint this thing, but throw it right back down to basics and people might not want to hear it. Start from the bottom. Make sure your gel polish application is beautiful. Like, you don't want it to be bumpy. And I know people will be like, well, I'm not going to make money just from that. And it's like, well, no, but if that base is clear and fresh and just perfect to work on, everything else will be 10 times easier.
Yeah, and equally, I would say there's nothing worse than doing a detailed nail art set and then someone coming back 3 days later because your retention's not right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like,
I'm so glad you get it.
Yeah, no, because one, it's really like repairing a single colour, like, okay, I've got to find time in my diary, kind of inconvenient, but I'll do it. But repairing something that's really detailed, A, eats up more time, then you lose more money, but B, it's frustrating for a client because presumably those nail art sets have cost them more.
Yeah.
So if they've paid, £80+ for a set of nails and then it chips within a couple of days, they're going to be pissed off.
Yeah.
So again, not just even like nailing it so that it looks better, actually nailing that base for your retention, I think is so important.
Yeah. I would sooner have a set of nails that lasted with okay art than nails, like you say, that ping off within the week. Because as well, the client might be reluctant to come back then because they know they've had to sit there for like 4 hours, and then they're like, this repair is going to take like an hour because you've got to take it all off, re-prep the nail, rebuild the nail, redo everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so glad you get it, because sometimes I feel really bad saying that.
No, not at all.
Nail the basics. Don't. It's so exciting, and if people are watching this thinking like, oh, like, I'm so happy you're excited to do nail art, that is fabulous, but take it right back to the beginning. There are times in the year where I'll sit to people and go, you're going to hate me, can we just do a plain set? I want to focus on getting this right again, because I feel like I've spent so long doing nail art that I'm rushing the base again, and things just aren't sitting how I want them to. So there's no shame in that, but I feel like that's one of the biggest mistakes, because people are so excited to start physically doing art, they neglect the base.
Yeah, I definitely heard that advice when I started out and ignored it, because I was like, but my clients want nail art and so I want to do it. Sometimes I would finish a set and I'd look at it and I'd be like, I'm so proud of that set because I'm happy with that nail art. But actually what I needed to be doing was assessing, okay, I'm happy with the nail art, but does my shaping need work? Does my structure need work? What else needs doing? Rather than just looking at like the icing on the cake.
Yeah, because you could have this, again, it sounds awful because I am no professional like icon or whatever, but it is sad when I see sets and I'm like, that nail art is amazing, what is that shape? And that sounds so awful, but it's like, if you just focus on, because the shape is part of the art.
Yeah, 100%. You keep talking about it, sorry,
I love how you just wandered off and like, goodbye.
Just wandered off and said, I didn't want to interrupt because you were saying such good things.
She's had enough, she's out.
I'm off. No, I didn't want to interrupt you because I think that's such a valid point, is you can do the most beautiful nail art, but if it's on the wrong, if it's on a base that isn't correctly structured, it can ruin it.
It really can, and it's such a shame.
And clients love nail art, but they also love a shape that doesn't make their fingers look insane.
Yeah.
Like if their nails are bumpy, like, it doesn't matter how good your star's drawn, they're gonna see bumpy nails.
Yeah. It's like the French, if you have an almond or a square, and you do a French, let's take it right back to, I say simple, I still hate Frenches. I will make it known to the world that Izzy from Orphic Nails hates Frenches.
Do not ask.
I cannot paint something identical 10 times. I will paint SpongeBob and the whole gang on every finger because that's something different on every finger. I cannot do something identical 10 times. But like Frenches, if you have a square or an almond or an oval French, but your oval's not quite oval or your square's a bit skew it's really noticeable. Or also, like, you don't have to have everything to do it as well. You know?
As in tool-wise?
Yeah. Like, this goes back to what we said before, invest in one decent brush and away you go. You'll be able to do all kinds of sets. You don't need to have a quick fix. That's another thing I think I've noticed with like the new wave of nail techs is, it sounds really rude, but they want, what's this trick, a tip and trick? How can I do this really fast and get really good at it in like 2 days? And it's like, you can't, you've got to practice.
Yeah.
There's no, I can teach you little tips and tricks that will help you along the way to get better, but there isn't like a quick, oh, you want to learn how to do lightning bolts, I'm going to teach you this really quick hack where you basically put no effort in. You have to put effort in. It's nail art, it's an art form. You know, you don't go to Picasso and be like, okay, I really like this painting, but can you just teach me a really quick way to do it? Like, you just don't.
Give me the life hack,
Literally,
please.
like, you want your art to be crispy, it's layers, it's your hands, your client's hand going in and out of the lamp multiple times, adding matte top coats to make it crispier, you know, buffing it if something's not quite right. It's a tedious process. And there are little things along the way to help, but I do think new nail techs will say, you know, there's a few people that message me like, what's a quick, easy way to do stars? And I'm like, there isn't. Learn your brush pressure, learn your brush saturation, and practice. And once you've got that, everything else will seem a lot easier, I promise you. It's a transferable skill, as you said earlier.
It's a transferable
It's a transferable skill. But yeah, there are quick tips and tricks of things. There are ways of breaking down how to do something. So a flame, a way that I was taught was draw, imagine it's a wine glass, so you do a U and a line in the middle, and then you go from the centre of the U and just flick it, and whatever. Obviously there's more detail to it.
Yeah.
But that's a good way of learning how to do it, breaking down the shape. But there isn't a quick tip or trick of how to do it. You have to just practice those motions, and it becomes second nature over time.
Hi, it's Laura here from the future. We had such an amazing episode and Izzy had so much to say and so many valuable tips. So I've actually decided to split the episode into 2 parts. So we're going to pause here and then I'll be back with a bonus episode next week that's filled with even more amazing knowledge and insider tips from Izzy. Thank you so much for listening. Please remember to give the podcast a like, a subscribe, and follow it wherever you get your podcasts. It really, actually, genuinely does help to get the word out and gets me more listeners. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll be back next week with part 2 of this. And the week after, we've got an episode with my client Lizzie, who's going to be telling us all about what clients want. So that's going to be a really valuable episode for you all. Thank you. Bye.